everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kira and you know what's happening. Today I'm sharing with you all of my July completed colouring pages. I do feel like July was a bit of a subpar colouring month for me. I still coloured 8 pages, which is my standard, but I was just feeling a lot of colouring frustration. And I think this was due to 2 things. The first reason being that I did try a few new techniques this month, and I was getting frustrated that I wasn't picking up these new techniques as quickly as I was hoping I would. And I just wasn't getting the results that I was envisioning in my head. These pages didn't turn out bad or anything, but it just took some time to get these techniques to work for me. And I'm an impatient gal, so yes, I was getting frustrated. And also going off of that, I was also getting frustrated just by how slowly I was coloring. I don't think I was coloring any slower than usual, but I was doing quite a bit of self-comparison. I often see other colorists on YouTube coloring like 20 plus pages a month, and I guess I was getting a little bit down on myself that my progress wasn't as much as theirs. But as we all know, comparison is never a good idea. So next month, I'm really going to make a conscious effort to not rush the process, enjoy myself, and not force myself to complete as many pages as possible. Coloring is supposed to be fun, and I don't want to forget that. With all that being said, let's do a little bit of a breakdown of my coloring last month. As I said, I completed 8 pages in July, and at the beginning of the month, I picked out 6 prompts out of my coloring prompt jar. I picked a corresponding page for each prompt, and out of those 6 pages, I actually managed to complete 4, so that's the majority. I'm pretty happy with that. The 2 pages I didn't get to was this one here from Small Victories. This was a page with a vehicle prompt. And this was the other page from Worlds of Wonder, which was the prompt, a page from Worlds of Wonder. Yeah. However, I did complete another page from Worlds of Wonder last month. So technically I kind of completed the prompt in a way, maybe? Yeah. I coloured in 5 books in total. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. I did 3 pages from Small Victories by Johanna Basford, 2 pages from Rita Berman's Asia book, a page from Worlds of Wonder, a page from Adorable Town, and finally my first ever melpomeni page from Enchanted Earth. Alright, let me show you my completed pages for July, and then we'll come back here and rank the pages from least favorite to favorite. Now, apologies if you can hear the birds outside. The sun is going down and they're getting wild out there. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, let's start off with Small Victories, the book I coloured in most this month and that I colour in most every month. And this here was the first page that I completed in July this month, and I am so happy with how this turned out. This was actually my first ever buddy colour. I did this with Chelsea. I can't remember her Instagram and YouTube name off the top of my head, but I'll put it on the screen right now along with her completed page. I love how hers turned out. It was just so fun, and the pastel colours just made me so nostalgic, and I don't know, it gave me cotton candy vibes. My page was actually inspired by another Instagram account. I believe it is Prianthe Colors. I think that's how you say it. I'll also put that on the screen. This page was for the prompt, a page set underwater. So I really wanted to emphasize the underwater aspect for this page, and it just makes me super duper happy. I based this page with watercolor pencil, went over the top with my Brutfuners, and then just added some white acrylic detail along with some gold glitter gel pen. You can somewhat see the glitter gel pen popping out. I wanted to somewhat replicate the color palette that I did for this page here, but do it more warm toned, I suppose, and I think I did that. I think I also used white gel pen on this page, and I just love how that gives it a more realistic effect when you're whiting out the black lines. The second page I completed in this book this month was this page here. You would have seen an earlier version version of this in my 6 ways to choose a color palette video. And basically what I did in that video was for each vignette, I chose a different color palette picking method, I suppose. And then off camera, I went and completed the page by adding lots of little details and elements and further shading. And I will be honest, I'm not fully happy with how this page turned out. And I think that's simply because I chose 6 different color palettes for it. If I wasn't doing this for a video, I think I would have just stuck with, say, this color palette here and done it for every single vignette. It just looks a little bit chaotic. I do like how this vignette here turned out, as well as this one down here, but I don't know, the others just aren't speaking to me. Yet again, done with my classic supplies of Brutfuner pencils, white gel pen, as well as some glitter gel pen as well. I used the Pentel Hybrid Dual Metallic gel pens as well, by the way. And the last page I colored was this wreath here. I really got inspired to do this page after doing my every page I've ever colored video. And I really loved how these floral vignettes turned out when I did them previously, like earlier on in my coloring journey. And I thought, you know what, let's try it again. Let's see how much I've improved. And I definitely think you can see an improvement from this page to this page. This one was done in December last year, and so that's kind of like 8-month progression, I suppose, and you can definitely see how much I've progressed. And I wanted to challenge myself with this page as well to do a more muted color palette. We all know I'm a big fan of color, and so muted color palettes aren't usually my go-to, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I'm also really happy with how the watercolor background turned out. I really want to keep experimenting with watercolor backgrounds and create a real stippled effect. I think I kind of did it over here in this corner here, you can see. The rest of it is not as stipply as this bit, but I really want to master the stipple, I suppose. And yet again, all my usual supplies on this. Got some silver gel pen in the center of them, and I also used some acrylic markers as well to do the little dots around the outside. Now let's move on to Rita Berman's Asia book. I really love the 2 pages that I completed in this book this month. The first one was this page here, and this page was for the prompt, a page with words on it. So as you can see, we've got some words in the corner here. And I will admit, this page was a bit of a frustrating one, as I alluded to at the beginning of this video. I had a lot of things go wrong, but in the end, it actually turned out really well. I'm really happy with the end result. Basically, what happened was that I got some food on the corner here. This star was never here. I had to draw that in myself. And I tried to get rid of the food that had stained the page. And in doing so, I kind of just like ruined the paper. And in order to fix it, I decided to draw another star on top, put on white acrylic paint pen, and then cover it in gold glitter. And I think you can hardly tell that this part of the page is somewhat ruined. Glitter is such a good tool for masking mistakes, I've found. But you can definitely see that me trying to fix it a gazillion different ways has bled through onto the other side, but I reckon I can easily cover that when I get to coloring this page. One thing I think I should have done on this page when doing the sort of loose glitter, I should have done a base underneath of, you know, just like a gold paint pen or even just yellow, because you can see the white of the star underneath. So that's definitely something I will do next time. And I feel like maybe I went a tad bit overboard with all the glitter on the sides, but who can have too much glitter, am I right? The clouds were also another aspect of the page that gave me a lot of grief. These were actually a lot more saturated when I initially colored them, and I hated how it looked. The colors had all muddied together when I was blending them, and so I literally just went over the top of them with an eraser, and that fixed it so well. So there you have it. If your clouds are all muddied from bad blending, just erase them and they kind of turn into these cool pastel vibes. That might be a technique to experiment with more in the future. And then the other page I completed in this book this month was this page here. This was for the prompt, a page with a person. I somewhat cheated this one a little bit, so I didn't have to color the face of a person, just the back. But this one is another one that I'm really happy with. I found a tropical color palette image on Pinterest and sort of used that as my inspiration. I didn't mean to make the clouds back here so dark and almost like moody. I wanted it to be a more like bright, colorful cloud in the background. I don't know what happened along the way. Yet again, had another color blending issue. But we're just going with it and pretending that like a summer rainstorm is coming in. You know, when it's like so hot that you have an afternoon storm? That's what's happening here. We're pretending that's the reason that there's a moody, stormy cloud in the background of this tropical scene. And as per usual, all the usual supplies on this one, based it with watercolor pencil, shaded with my Brutfuners, and then used some white acrylic paint pen as well as, I think, some gel pen in some areas. Oh, and I also used some acrylic marker to add some little extra elements here. You can see some yellow highlights on that bird, some pink highlights on this bird. Did this kind of, I don't know what you call that. You see this bit here? Did that with acrylic marker. And then added some extra embellishments to most of the flowers as well with acrylic marker too. Okay, so the next 2 pages I'm going to show you will actually be featured in my next video, which is all about how to use acrylic markers in your coloring books. And so this is the page here you'll be seeing from Adorable Town. I think this one is just so cute. Is it the most technically amazing? No, but it is adorable. I especially love how the sushi element turned out. Like, I think this is supposed to be a prawn. And outlining with acrylic marker just really helped create a more organic, naturalistic appearance. I've added some extra elements to the bushes. And this was a new technique that I tried out here. What I did here was actually go over the outlines of this sign with white paint pen. And then I went over the top with my hybrid dual metallic gel pen. And obviously it didn't turn out amazingly, but this is a technique I want to keep exploring with because I feel like it creates an almost embossed look on the page. And it's another interesting way to get rid of the black lines on the page and also help the glitter gel pen just to pop a little bit more. Like, it would not look that if I'd just gone straight over the black outlines. I did do somewhat of a limited color palette with this one. Kind of tried to go for like orangey, greeny, blue vibes. And I think it just helps the page look a little bit more cohesive together. So that was that page there, done in Adorable Town. By the way, I chose this page from the prompt, a page with an animal companion. And then this is the other page you'll see featured in my next video. This is my first page completed in Worlds of Wonder. There is something just a tad bit off for me in this page. I like how I colored it, but I don't necessarily like the color palette I chose. There's just something not sitting quite right with me. The blue and pink flamingo are giving me almost like gender reveal vibes. That was not intentional whatsoever. And I didn't like how my blending turned out for the background. It just looks not very seamless to me. And I'm such a perfectionist. I wanted it to look seamless. And I actually used a different technique for coloring this flamingo versus this flamingo. So you'll be seeing that in the next video. I created these clouds down here with acrylic paint pens. And then I also used a gold metallic paint pen for the stars up here as well. It's not a bad page, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. And finally, we have Enchanted Earth, a brand new book to me, a brand new author. I showed this in my last video where I let my Instagram followers choose my August coloring plans. And there was a page from this that was an option that didn't get chosen. And because it didn't get chosen for my August coloring plans, I thought, you know what? Let's color it in July. I had 3 days left, so I completed this one as quickly as I could. And so I decided to color the title page. I tried to somewhat base it off the color scheme that is on the front cover. That's just something I really like to do in coloring books. I guess I like to pay homage to the illustrator's vision. And I think this one just turned out so magical. There are so many extra elements on this page, especially in this sky. I added so many little white dots as well as some other dots in different acrylic paint pen colors. These These trees here I knew would be a pain in the bum to try and shade. So what I actually did was just used alcohol markers. I did base this initially with alcohol markers. I just used a few different colors of alcohol markers, and then I went over the top with some glitter gel pen in some spots. And I think that just helped add some variance to the trees without necessarily having to shade like every little individual leaf or whatever you want to call these shapes here. A method that I also tried on this page that I learnt from Shelley over at Shell's Colouring Journey is to use white acrylic paint pen and then colour over the top of it. I was semi-successful using this technique. I did it here for the moon as well as the reflection of the moon. This was initially black. And basically I coloured it white and then went over the top with yellow. I think because I used a fairly cheap acrylic paint pen, the pencil didn't lay down very well on it, so I probably need to use like something that's higher quality, perhaps a Posca paint pen. I also did that down here with the bee leaves. I did it in white and then went over the top with a light blue. And then also on the tips of these rose petals here, as well as the edges of this interesting flower shape. But yeah, this page just makes me so incredibly happy. I truly am a bright colorist at heart, so this page feels like home to me and very much true to my coloring style. And I can't wait to do more alcohol marker basing on good quality paper, not just Amazon quality paper. So those were the 8 pages that I colored in July. Before we go to ranking these pages, I did want to briefly touch upon sort of buddy coloring. As I said, I did my first buddy color this month and it was so much fun coloring with someone, but I will let you know that I will only be doing one buddy color a month, and that's just because I personally get stressed very easily. I don't want to overwhelm myself and overcommit myself to too many people. So I already have an August buddy color lined up, but if you'd like to do a buddy color with me, please still reach out. I just might not be able to commit for the immediate next month, but we can definitely do a buddy color at some point in the future. All right, it's now time to rank these pages from least favorite to favorite. I did this ranking last month and I actually really enjoyed it. It really helped me narrow down what my favorite page of the month was. Coloring is all about having fun and being creative, so the outcome is not important, but I really love numbers and data, so doing this is fun for me. And I also like to see if my favorite page of the month was your favorite page of the month. All right, so coming in at number 8, my least favorite page of the month, it was the floral vignette page from Small Victories. In 7th place was the flamingo page from Worlds of Wonder. Coming in at number 6, I had the adorable town page. Number 5 was my floral wreath from Small Victories. Number 4 was the tropical Vietnam page from Rita Berman's Asia book. Number 3 was the other page I did from Rita Berman's Asia book, the hot air balloon page. Coming in 2nd place, I had the little teacup teapot page from Small Victories, which leaves the enchanted earth page as my number 1 for July. This might be a little bit of a biased favorite just because it is a brand new book and it is a brand new illustrator for me, so it was just a fun new experience. Anyway, those were all my pages for July. Let me know what page was your favorite in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video to show you how I use acrylic marker in my coloring pages. Happy coloring, friends! Have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!